and it is our love that can change the world. Welcome to those who are joining us virtually, our Facebook community, and those who may be watching it later on Facebook or on our YouTube channel. Welcome to the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living. We begin our theme for the month of February, which is curiosity as a superpower. And I want to put a little plug in now for our Science of Mind magazine for this month. The articles are about curiosity, and they are very inspirational, very inspiring, uplifting, great writers that are contributing. For those of you who are here in the center, we have copies on the hospitality table for $5. And for those of you who are joining us online, if you're not a subscriber, I encourage you to do so. Our title for today is What Lies Beneath the Surface? And this can both be a statement and a question, depending on how we approach it. If we knew it all, or could see it all, there would be no need for a curious, imaginative mind. Without an appreciation for the unknown, life would be ever so dull. And so curiosity is one of the most basic calls of life, and it is truly our superpower. And so moving through this month, we will be pulled by curiosity to look below the surface, to look within, to release into the world the gifts that curiosity has revealed to us, and to lean into the wonderment of living each day with a heightened awareness of how curiosity ignites our lives. February is Black History Month. And during this month, I will be offering for us what I'm calling Black History Moments. Turning to the wisdom of Mother Harriet Tubman, I share these words: God's time, emancipation, is always near. He sets the North Star in the heavens. He gave me the strength in my limbs. He meant I should be free. And there's a scripture reference for this that is found in 2 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter and the 17th verse. And reading from the New Revised Standard Version are these words: Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And in Science of Mind, we know that Lord is another term for the indwelling God. So where the Spirit of the indwelling God is, there is our freedom. We live in a synchronistic universe. Therefore, I find it fitting that curiosity is the theme for Black History Month. Black history, African history, existed long before the chattel slave trade and the transatlantic ocean slave trade, which unfortunately is often the beginning point of the story of Black Americans in the United States and in the Black diaspora of the Americas. If someone has zero or limited exposure, or just are curious about the vast contributions of Black Americans and are willing to go beyond the often distorted nightly news, let us dive in a little deeper to discover these truths. The African continent is recognized as the birthplace of humanity and the cradle of civilization. The transatlantic slave trade not only distorted Africa's economic development, it also distorted the views and the history and the importance of the African continent itself. And for those who are not familiar with the geography of Africa, there's a tendency to think of Africa, the country Africa, as being just one location. Africa is an entire continent. The country of Africa is one of the countries in the continent. So I'm referring to the continent of Africa in this presentation this morning. Redressing this distortion of how when we look at the history and the importance of the African continent itself, we have to recognize that its history has been distorted. And it's only during the last 50 years that a reestablishing of Africa's rightful place in world history has begun to be presented to us. We marvel at the great achievements of Kemet, or ancient Egypt, for example. One of the most notable of the early African civilizations, first developed in the Nile Valley over 5,000 years ago. However, even before Kemet, a more ancient kingdom known as Tassete, the kingdom of Tassete in the Nile Valley may well have been the earliest state to exist anywhere in the world. It is located in what is now known as Nubia in the Sudan. The Nubian people of the kingdom of Sete were regarded as the founders of Kemet. And as a result, Tassete and Kemet are both considered to be the original names of ancient Egypt. Africa can be credited not only with giving rise to many scientific developments associated with Egypt, such as engineering, mathematics, architecture, medicine, and important early political developments such as state formation and monarchy. The study of this period illustrates the economic and political development, as well as the scientific development that makes it perhaps one of the most advanced, that makes Africa one of the most advanced places in the continents, of all of the continents. With this as a backdrop, I encourage you to engage your superpower curiosity and allow this month to be a reconnecting point with the excitement of what could be, moving us from complacency and inspire us to our greater yet to be. Science of Mind teaches us that we live in a limitless universe and that our experience of it is only limited by our beliefs and our perceptions. Allowing fear to prevent us from following our curiosity in the unknown feeds the belief that the world is a scary place and that we're walking the path alone. Ernest Holmes offers this in his book titled It's Up to You on page 17. The first step in overcoming fear is to concede that God is for us. This done, we have once overcome the fear by seeing that there is nothing to be afraid of. The world is all right, and we can meet it on its own terms. Ernest also offers for us in the Science of Mind textbook this piece of inspiration, if you will. Fear arises from a mental attitude which limits the possibility and the willingness of spirit to give us the good that we so greatly desire. Fear arises from the mental attitude which limits the possibility and the willingness of spirit to give us the good we so greatly desire. And so by leaning into our faith, by knowing that the divine is supporting us and supplying us in all that we need, and all that we need and that all we do, we are free to speak of the beauty that lies beneath the surface. And here's a little story of two friends. Two friends passed a homeless person sleeping under a bridge. And one of the friends asked the other, if you knew that in your next lifetime, you would have to trade places with that homeless person, would you live your life any differently? The friend paused and then answered yes, and immediately walked over and gave the homeless person some money. Now, the intent of this story is to remind us that so long as we can see ourselves in the other, And of course, we know from our teachings that there is no other, that there's only one of us here. We do not have to try to be generous, compassionate, or loving. It is our nature to be that way. It is not in our nature to pass people who are destitute or suffering and not feel compassion. So if you feel something, it's a sign that you see yourself in that person or experience. And by helping them in any way that you can, you're also helping yourselves. And part of the theme of curiosity and part of the teachings of Science of Mind is to invite us to engage our feeling. You know, when we are doing our spiritual practices, when we're doing our spiritual mind treatments, when we're doing our visioning, we're always invited to tap into the feeling tone and to allow that feeling tone to be our inspiration. Curiosity is one of the most basic calls to life. It pulls us to learn about the world around us. And for those of us who have been around little ones or who have had the pleasure of raising children, observe a baby taste its fingers or toes. Just the delight, the curiosity in discovering these little fingers and these little toes. I remember recently my granddaughter sent me a picture of my newest great-grand, and he had discovered his feet. And it was such a charming picture. And it just reminded me of my experience of observing them grow up. Also observe a seafaring discoverer setting sails for lands unknown. The superpower of curiosity is stimulating the desire to know more. And that's what our curiosity is inviting us to do, is to tap into this desire to know more, and to also tap into that feeling tone and to embody the excitement of what it means to feel more and to discover more. Asking what or why and not accepting just because becomes the tip of the iceberg for our curiosity and the impetus to learn more. Now, I don't know if any of you may have a shared childhood experience that I did, but I grew up in a household where they didn't ask a lot of questions. And what I remember is if my mother specifically was getting tired of the questions that I was asking, the answer to shut me up was just because I said so. And also in some of our classes, we learned that why is an invalid question, that we're to ask the what, not the why. And the scientific method behind that in terms of our spiritual practice is to ask, what is spirit revealing for me? What is in this for me to observe? Rather than why am I going through this? What is it in this experience that is going to ignite the possibility of my own growth and expansion? Brené Brown writes in The Gifts of Imperfection, faith is a place of mystery where we find the courage to believe in what we cannot see and the strength to let go of our fear of uncertainty. When we desire to know more, when our desire to know more becomes stronger than the fear of the unknown, we are compelled to find a way. What lies beneath the surface is the unknown. And it may outpicture as fear or the fear of failure. We cannot learn if we don't experience failure. It's a part of the process. We have to get it wrong in order to get it right. We have to get it wrong in order to get it right. And I know that some of us may have had the experience of growing up, or perhaps the experience of being in the workplace where getting it wrong was not allowed or was frowned upon, or you were put down. I know there were cases where I was put down for getting something wrong. What I learned from that, and the most inspiring part of the learning, was when the coach, the parent, the teacher, whoever it was, used what was done wrong as the inspiration to direct and to guide into Let's do this over, and let's do it this way to get the results that we're looking for. I saw this definition of fail that I want to share with you this morning, and I thought it was very exciting. At least for me, it was very exciting. The definition of fail: first attempt in learning. Our first attempt in learning. Science of Mind teaches us to learn to lean into our connection that the universe is for us, to lean into our faith and to allow our fear to be transformed into excitement. And I am having an opportunity right now to practice this in my personal life as I focus on my mental attitude and lean into my faith, knowing that the divine is supporting and supplying all that I require for a successful upcoming medical procedure and the healing into wholeness that is my natural state of being. Ernest Holmes writes this in The Power of an Idea on page 70. These thoughts, ideas, feelings, hopes, expectations, doubts, fears, and faith make up that thing within us which is attracting or repelling certain experiences. So we go through life and we attract and repel. We attract and we repel. We attract and we allow some things to attach. And it's the curiosity that allows us to know the difference, to hold on to what it is that we are attracting in our lives and to repel that which is not supporting our greater yet to be. As we grow and expand our knowledge of our world, we grow our personal power. When we feel secure, we are free to dive deeper, to discover new things, to have ideas build upon ideas. And we uncover the beauty of the world. We recognize God in everything, and our fear is laid down. When we feel secure, we are free to dive deeper, to discover new things, to have ideas build upon ideas, and we uncover the beauty of the world. We recognize God in everything, and our fear is laid down. Meditation teacher Light Watkins says this: it's not about what happens today that will make it a good or a bad day, but how you feel about what happens makes it so. So again, we're reminded to tap into those feelings, and the feeling tone of whatever the experience is makes it a good experience or a bad experience, depending on how we choose to look at it. And so our summary and call to action this morning is to remember again that that which lies unseen beneath the surface has always been a mystery for us. For some, it brings forth a feeling of excitement, and for others, the unknown is approached with fear. I offer these steps to you. Be the loudest supporting voice in your own life. Be the loudest supporting voice in your own life. Be your own best cheerleader. Be willing to look below the surface. Be willing to revel in new discoveries and the beauty that they bring. Have the courage to lay aside fear and get excited about the unknown. And so our life work for the week, if you choose to do so, our personal practical application is to dive into the spiritual practice of awe. Be it in the grandeur of the outdoors, or contemplating the foam in your morning coffee or your morning hot chocolate. Allow yourself to be aware of the wonder of it all, and then sit with these questions. Am I curious and love it? Do I just not want to know? Am I comfortable where I am? Allow these to be your inspiration. Allow these to be your dive into recognizing your superpower curiosity. Am I curious and I love it? Do I just not want to know? And there's some things that I know for me personally, there's some things I just do not want to know. And so I don't go looking for those things. Am I comfortable where I am? Or am I being pushed? Am I being pushed by pain, or am I being pulled by vision to expand beyond the comfort zone where I find myself? And our affirmation for this week, I marvel at all I can choose today, no matter what my age. Let us say this together. I marvel at all I can choose today, no matter what my age. And as we turn within, as we allow our awareness to go into this place where, without curiosity, without doubt, without fear, we know that there is only one life, and that life is God's life. We remember this morning the life of Maria Kalpakoff, one of our longtime church secretaries who recently made her transition. And as Maria has stepped off of the mortal plane into that oneness which she came from, so too it is true for each one of us, living an individualized expression of God. While we are yet on this mortal plane, we know and we know that we know, I know and I know that I know that my life is divinely guided and protected. For I dwell in that secret place of the Most High, where I am free. And so I speak my word this morning, declaring peace in the midst of everything that is going on around, knowing that the seeming chaos, these weapons of mass distraction that we're continually bombarded with us, can be transformed from a negative into a positive by our superpower curiosity, looking for only that which expands the consciousness of oneness, expands the consciousness of love, expands the consciousness of compassion, expands the consciousness of knowing that I am my brother and sister's keeper. I declare right here and right now that there's a healing that is taking place throughout the entire planet. A healing that is taking place in the body temple, in the body of affairs of each and every person. Knowing that as the universe is shifting us from fear to faith, that this process is, this path is traveled with ease and grace, and that the curiosity reveals that love and the beauty of all that there is in this marvelous life. I speak a word of blessing for individuals who are experiencing transitions in their lives, whatever those and however those transitions may appear, knowing that the answer to all of the questions is always yes. The Spirit of God, the Spirit of love, the Spirit of this intelligence, the Spirit of this creative energy that lives and moves and has its being as each one is saying yes to those personal requests. Yes, I love you. Yes, I am here with you. Yes, you are a part of me. Yes, yes, yes. And knowing that embodied in that yes is the unconditional love that is always a presence and never an absence. I give thanks. I give thanks for knowing this in my own life. And I give thanks for being a knower and joining in the knowingness of others with this as their superpower. Releasing this word into the law, I know that my word has set a new cause in motion and that it cannot and it will not return void. And so with ease, with grace, and with absolutely no effort at all, I just allow this to be. And I invite you to affirm this with me, if it be any of your truth, by saying, and so it is. And so thank you to all of you who are here this morning and those of you who are joining us via our virtual community. It is now time for us to participate in the law of circulation. And this is where we have an opportunity to practice sharing our abundance with our faith community. We have an affirmation of abundance, and I invite us now to say this together. I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the law of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And so it is. Thank you for the marvelous ways you continue to support the spiritual community. Those who are here in the center this morning, we have a donation box on the hospitality table where you may leave your offering. We are grateful for the mail-in offerings that continue to come in to us. And the address is on your screen, 400 West Franklin Street, Monterey, California, 93940. You may also text to give. That number is on your screen. And you may also donate to our website online at www.montereycsl.org. Again, thank you for the abundant way that you support this, you support our spiritual community. It allows us to make an even larger positive footprint on the planet. A few highlights that I would like to share with our virtual community before we say good morning to them is an invitation to join us for visioning on Saturday morning from 10:30 to 11 o'clock. We vision for our spiritual community. And quite often I get inspiration out of that visioning session for my Sunday message. It's a time of coming together and just leaning into the active listening for what Spirit is revealing in our lives. And then on Sunday morning, we gather in the bookstore and also virtually for visioning for our personal lives. So I invite you to take advantage of that. We're in the season for nonviolence, and this is also Black History Month. Our Love in Action team meets today following the service at around 11:45 or so. So we invite you to be a part of that. And the Love in Action team is the new expression, is the new term for our creative expressions. So this is where those who have a talent or a willingness to learn come together and engage in an activity that supports our part of our outreach into our own community and into the larger community. On next Sunday, we are celebrating our 71st anniversary as a spiritual community. So it's happy birthday, Monterey Center for Spiritual Living. And so we invite you, especially if you live locally, to come and be a part of the celebration. Following our Sunday morning gathering, we will have cake, and there'll be a little trivia, and there'll be some other little surprises that you want to be here to be a part of. So we invite you to come in and take part of that. And then let's see, the third Sunday is Soul Collage. The fourth Sunday is Spiritual Living Circles. This information is in our newsletter. And if you're not a subscriber, I encourage you to do so. And you may subscribe through the website. And then on March 5th, the first Sunday in March, 1 month from today, will be our 2023 annual meeting. And this will take place immediately following the Sunday celebration service. And we will broadcast the annual meeting via Zoom also. So if you're going to be out of the area and cannot be here in person, please tune into Zoom to just get an update on the state of the church, the state of the center, and to voice your input into the direction that we are headed. So we thank you for that. And with that, I want to say thank you to our virtual community, an invitation to join us next week, where our message is inquiring minds want to flow. We often say inquiring minds want to know. Inquiring minds want to flow. So we invite you to tune in and to share with us and see where that may lead, what Spirit has to reveal to us. And also invite you to like our Facebook page and to share this message with others. This is a way of getting the word out that God is all that there is. God loves each one of us as its own special creation. So we say thank you and good morning to our virtual community.